I've been playing video games from a very young age and have strong nostalgia and happy memories from playing many games. But there are some video game levels in particular that are tattooed in my brain cells with vivid detail despite not playing some of them for over a decade. I thought it would be cool to share these memories in this video and would love to hear in the comments what video game levels are nostalgic for you.
Push the start button.
I knew that.
All right.
I got it.
Let's begin the video at the beach. One of my earliest video game memories wasn't of me playing, but rather watching my cousin playing the opening levels of Crash Bandicoot on PlayStation 1. The colourful, cartoonish aesthetic, distinctive soundtrack and just one more attempt type gameplay attracted me to the franchise, and I'd later play through all 4 of the PlayStation 1 Crash Bandicoot games. As I'm sure you may have identified by now, the level that is hugely nostalgic for me is the very first Crash Bandicoot level, Insanity Beach. It's a relatively simple level, but perfectly introduces many of the game's mechanics without any explicit tutorial. I'm not one for speedrunning games, but I love trying to improve my completion time on this level, while most importantly smashing through all the crates. Moving on to another game developed by Naughty Dog. From the initial pre-release trailers, I knew the locomotion level was going to be outstanding, and my intuition was not wrong. Uncharted 2 is still arguably one of the greatest video games ever made, and yet this level is the one my brain gravitates to when remembering Uncharted 2. I am cheating a little bit here, as in my mind the locomotion level includes chapters 13, 14 and 15, because these chapters all take place while Drake is on board or hanging off the side of a train. What I think makes this section of the game so brilliant is how the gameplay builds up in intensity. It starts off quite nice and quiet and stealthy, and then we get the introduction of the highly annoying traffic lights to avoid. As the level progresses, Drake is inevitably drawn into combat with lower level thugs, and the rude arrival of the helicopter's gunfire wreaking havoc on the train's carriages. Of course, the level's intensity continues to increase more, culminating in the train cascading off the side of a mountain, leaving Drake hanging onto the train for dear life. This also made for an extremely memorable opening level too, but perhaps that's a preview for a future video. If you'd not had enough hanging off the side of a cliff in Uncharted 2, 1 month later in 2009, you could have found yourself scaling up an icy cliff face with Captain Soap McTavish in the mission Cliffhanger from Modern Warfare 2. Often the discourse when it comes to Modern Warfare 2's campaign is focused around the No Russian mission for its controversial nature. But sadly this means people forget about the bloody awesome missions this campaign has. Back in 2009, teenage Ryan was in awe at the spectacle of climbing up the mountainside to reach the secluded army base. Sneaking your way through the blizzard and numerous patrolling guards to obtain the ACS module in one of the base's hangars.
Took a scenic route, eh? Let's go.
In typical Call of Duty fashion, things don't go according to plan, and Soap gets forced to surrender, leading to Plan B, which involves blowing up the C4 you planted earlier in the mission and causing the whole base to go on high alert. As Roach and Soap fight their way through the airfield, they will commandeer a couple of snowmobiles, where my absolute favourite part of the mission begins. Using the snowmobiles to aid in their escape, Roach and Soap slalom their way through a forest at high speed, avoiding gunfire from chasing soldiers, helicopter fire and jumping across a giant chasm to reach the exfil location. The musical score during this section is one of my all-time favourite video game soundtracks, written by Hans Zimmer. It just adds so much weight to the action of this mission. From fighting your way towards a plane in Modern Warfare 2 to fighting your way out of a plane in Grand Theft Auto 4, the multiplayer of Grand Theft Auto 4 was way ahead of its time, and looking back at it now, you can see the building blocks for what's now made Grand Theft Auto 5 Online so damn popular. Besides the standard multiplayer game modes and races, GTA 4 featured a trio of co-op missions named Hangman's Noose, Bomb to Base 2 and Deal Breaker. All 3 missions were really fun to play, but Hangman's Noose was a mission that became an obsession for me. The mission entails providing cover and transport for a rich man from point A at the airport to point B where a pickup vehicle is waiting to collect the asset. The caveat being that the police want to take you down. Since my concept of valuing my time as a teenager was some unknown negative value, I decided to go for the Platinum Trophy for GTA 4. Ignoring all the other trophies required for the Platinum for now, I needed to reach the max rank of 10 in multiplayer, and to do this you need to amass $5 million in fortune. The fastest way of coining in dollar was to get very fast at speedrunning Hangman's Noose. Efficient squads could complete the mission within 2.5 minutes and bank $4,500 in the process. I can fondly remember coming home from school and getting straight on the PlayStation to complete multiple runs of this mission with a dedicated crew of people I didn't know from Adam. Until, after about a month of gameplay, I reached the max rank of 10 out of 10 and got the Platinum Trophy along the way.
That I assure you. Now we must drink and forget the bloodshed.
Lord of the Rings: Return of the King was an outstanding movie, but was also a bloody fantastic video game on the PS2. It's criminal to me that this game isn't playable on modern consoles and would be my pick for a dream port or remaster. I replayed this game so many times as a kid, often starting new playthroughs rather than continuing my progress. As the Army of the Dead level is available after completing the game's tutorial level, and had the added bonus that it was playable as Aragorn, Legolas or Gimli, this meant that I replayed the Army of the Dead level a lot, like, a lot. I think the reason I loved this level was it captured the atmosphere of the Army of the Dead from the movie with limited PlayStation 2 graphics, and was a brilliant introduction to the game's combat as you fight quite a lot of undead soldiers on your way to the King of the Dead.
No matter the peril, we must cross this!
The spectacle of holding your ground against increasingly stronger enemies on the bridge near the end of the level, with hordes of undead slowly approaching in the background, accompanied by the official movie soundtrack singing in your ears, it's just a video game's chef kiss in my book.
This way!
Anyway would be fine about now.
Well, this is my kind of rain.
If you need more justification than the opening cutscene beginning with a cute girl falling from the sky, then you're just being greedy. But I shall satisfy your greed with many red orbs while I explain why Mission 7 of Devil May Cry 3 is super nostalgic for me. In the missions leading up to this one, a giant tower called Timonigru has risen out of the ground. Timonigru translates to house whose foundations creates terror. In other words, the tower is a portal between the human world and the demon world. Dante ventures up this monstrous tower to put a stop to his brother's plans to open the portal to the demon world. Mission 7 begins with Dante nearing the top of the tower and must first find a way to extinguish the flames blocking one of the doors at the very base of the tower. Because Dante is lazy, he needs to get power to the tower's elevator by finding an important item in the Divine Library. Using the elevator, Dante travels right from the top of the tower to the bottom, which works as a clever reminder of the levels and bosses you fought on your way up to this point. Making his way through the fire and flames and some puppet enemies for good measure, Dante finds himself playing swing ball to acquire a crystal skull. Back to the top of the tower we go, fighting the first boss of the game again, which is just such a cool looking Grim Reaper design, and on to the final part of the mission. Time to kiss your brother.
How about a kiss from your little brother? Or better yet, how about a kiss from this?
I could wax lyrical about this boss fight for days, so I'll keep it simple. Virgil's aesthetic is sensational, the soundtrack is sweet, and the set pieces are slick. So SSS overall. Hitman games are renowned for the creative ways you can take out your targets, and this is certainly true of the mission Curtains Down from Hitman Blood Money. I have fond memories staying over at a friend's house in the school holidays, taking turns to see how we chose to kill the targets. It was always interesting as I usually took the gung-ho approach, while my friend was always more stealthy and methodical. In Curtains Down, Agent 47 is tasked with taking out two targets, Alvaro de Alverde and Richard Della Hunt. The former is an actor taking part in rehearsals for the play Tosca, while the latter is an American ambassador who is watching rehearsals take place from his box. I think my favourite method for completing this mission requires collecting the real World War II pistol and acquiring a construction worker's disguise, then making my way to the executioner's dressing room and swapping the fake gun for the real one, which takes care of Alvaro. I knew that once the executioner kills Alvaro for real during the play, Della Hunt would leave his box and approach the stage to mourn the loss of the actor. In the background, Agent 47 has made his way above the stage and planted a bomb onto the light rigging. Agent 47 just casually lets his finger slip on the detonator, and splat goes Della Hunt. Mission accomplished. It's curtains down for this mission, and also this video. I hope you've enjoyed my trip down memory lane, and please share your memories in the comments. Thanks for watching.